So I have this one case where this person came in and they unfortunately have hair loss around the widow's peak, as we know. So I'm going to talk in layman's terms, just so people, I'm not going to talk medical terms because it's just easier for people to understand. So he has the receding hairline, and it's not common in his family. So when we did the trichological assessment, we ruled out that he has any genetic hair losses in his family. Doesn't mean that he won't. There is still a chance that he can still have it. However, in this case, we found out that it was an imbalance of his hormones. He had just moved here 2 years ago. He's in his early 20s, so he's not eating healthy because he's in school. He's working a crazy job between Alberta and BC. He's not eating properly. And so everything to have a recipe for a hormone imbalance in a male. And men can have hormone imbalances. Sergio, we could talk about that too. After I talk about this, let's talk about that. But men aren't aware. They think it's just women have hormone imbalances. Men do too. And usually when you do have the receding hairline, we're also learning that when you have receding hairlines, we often thought it was genetic hair loss. But we're now finding that if you're having hair patch in the crown, it's more related to DHT. But if it's in the frontal, it's a hormone imbalance. So testosterone or in female estrogen. So this is how we know that. And I was able to rule it out based on his history with his family and the whole assessment that I did. Now he's also experiencing in the frontal area where he does have the hair broken and bitter pieces. So he was pulling up his little hair in the front. It was maybe an inch, and then the rest of his hair was 4 to 5 inches. Well, he is also in construction. And so with construction, you do wear the helmet with the little band around the top. So all the band touches that area. And the rest of the hair is not touched by the helmet because there's 2 inches between the plastic of the helmet and the scalp. So with his helmet, he's constantly moving around, causing traction alopecia. So it's essentially causing friction between the hair, causing that breakage. And especially when you are going between climates. So Alberta is very dry, and especially right now, we're even drier than we have typically been in past years because of all the fires we've had. And this summer, normally it is moist. It has also been a very, very dry summer for us, which is very unusual because of the fires. And then now we're going into winter. And then he's going into BC. Now, BC, if you haven't been to BC, it is lakes everywhere, very humid. Lot of forest in there. It's beautiful, very humid. So he's going from dry, humid, dry, humid, dry, humid, dry, humid, causing a recipe for disaster for his hair to have that breakage and that brittle hair. And so, of course, with that helmet on top of it to boot, and the hair lacking nutrients from not eating healthy, lacking sleep, and all of that, and the stress from moving from another country 2 years ago here, his body still hasn't bounced out. And so it's causing the hair to have that breakage. So, yeah. So we have figured out that those are the 2 causes for his hair loss because of the environment. And a lot of people aren't really aware about that because we don't consider that. We don't talk about that. And especially if you are a hair professional in an area that you don't have a lot of humidity and you don't see the climate change so common, it's not talked about or considered. And so that's why I thought it was very important today that we talk about that and be aware of our environmental factors from moving from point A to point B and from your actual environmental habitat. So, Sergio, let's talk about the male hormones because I find too we don't talk about that enough as well.
Sure. Usually, for guys, if it's not thyroid or diabetes, people don't pay attention to the hormones, and that's it for guys. But we miss out some of the signals that our body is giving. For instance, sebum, excessive sebum on the scalp, excessive sebum on the face, acne. We are also forgetting about constipation, diarrhea, things that affect our digestive system that are related to hormonal imbalances. We are forgetting about body hair. If our face hair, our body hair is changing, and I'm seeing guys that have been experiencing that they're losing hair in their body. Could that be related to some sort of hormonal imbalances? It could be. Guys who are getting a bit of the chest getting a bit bigger, than usual, kind of female-like type of chest, and those are signs. It's not just that you're getting fat; It could be a hormonal imbalance as well. Swelling on the neck, in the neck region. Even if we see changes in the color of the neck, on the sides of the neck and on the back, if it's getting darker, that's one of that's one of other hormonal signal. If you're urinating too much, all of a sudden, that's another hormonal signal. If you're getting sensitive to cold or heat, rather more than usual. I mean, there's a common tolerance to cold and heat, but you're getting more shiverish or you're getting too much heat. You should consider those as signs of something that could be hormonal. Okay, it could be climate change, it could be many things, but don't rule out hormones just yet. And in order to understand if it's really hormonal or not, you should get blood tests to confirm that information. But if this is unfortunate, if the symptoms are too mild, it will not show on blood sometimes. Many times it will take months or years before it shows up, and you'll be experiencing symptoms of many hormonal imbalances for years, and you're not diagnosed yet because it's not confirmed over the blood work. So there are many things that we can do in between. And I want to give here a space to Bisan, because here functional medicine plays a big role in between. Before you're getting the big signals, before you get diagnosed with maybe diabetes, thyroid issues, or adrenal issues. I mean, if people are sweating too much, that's another hormonal imbalancing property right there, another hormonal imbalancing feature. Where are you sweating? From the hands, from the body. Those are things that we should take into consideration. Bisan, please take us away on this.
Yes, you said something very important, Sergio. You said like until we get diagnosed. So until we get diagnosed, our numbers are already so high. So we got diagnosed, showed up in our blood test. But that doesn't mean that this issue, this problem didn't start from a long time ago. Any like diabetes, even cancer, Alzheimer's, all these are chronic diseases, means they start in a simple hormonal imbalance long time ago, and we didn't address it because it didn't show on a blood test. And then when we address it, it's kind of a bit too late in a way. We could have, if we address it earlier on, we could prevent it from happening. So going back to the Carrie's case, yes, guys have hormonal imbalances. It is always undermined actually because the hormonal balance is in women is more severe and it is more aggressive. But guys, that's why we pay more attention to that. But guys' hormonal imbalance exists. It's a more subtle way, but it exists. And a lot of scientists believe that actually men do go through cycle in their months, and they go through menopause too in different ways, in different biological ways. But yes, guys, even if this guy is still very young, his testosterone apparently is going up and down. And leaving his country also is bringing a lot of stress, emotional stress on him. That will affect his testosterone, as it's like women, when we have a trauma in our life, it affects our hormones. It's exactly the same thing. We have the same concept biologically in a way. So yes, and also guys have estrogen. When you said that, Sergio, that there's signs in our body, in guys' bodies will tell you if there's hormonal imbalances. If a guy have a body belly fat, that's a sign of increased estrogen. And increased estrogen in guys will increase like the breast size in the guys, will increase also the hip size of the guys. Even sometimes when a guy is walking differently how he used to walk, it's a sign of estrogen, increased estrogen. So my point is, yes, guys do have a lot of imbalances. It just goes subtle, and maybe it's our culture too. We don't address it, and it's maybe the society tell guys is like, no, you're not a woman, don't cry over it. But yes, Guys do have emotional trauma. Guys do have emotional stress, and it will lead to hormonal imbalances. And the most very obvious one is testosterone. And also guys by age, like women, we lose estrogen. Guys by age lose testosterone. It's also a very undermined issue.
It is. I mean, after 37, we lose testosterone all the way, you know, to the day we die. So we're losing testosterone. So our peak is the 37-year mark. After that, woo, it's going down. So,
Same thing. Same thing.
And this is a fun fact, you guys. This is why a lot of, and correct me if I'm wrong, like if I'm misinformed here, but from what I understand, what I've been told by my hair transplant surgeon friends, they said a lot of times they don't like to do transplants on men before that age because oftentimes
100%.
it doesn't stick. And they prefer to do it. Their candidates are in their late 30s, early 40s because of this.
100%.
Ethical. They said ethically it's not right because the hormones, and that's what both of them had told me. So
100%. And that's why
a lot of people get their transplant before time. So
that's why we always say like the importance of trichologists in a hair transplant clinic, because trichologists will understand that. And yes, when a person is 20 years old, he does not need a surgery, even if he's going bald. There are so many things that he can do to address this baldness. And you know, like, you know, hair loss issue is not 100% solvable all the time. So when it is not solvable at all, when he hits 40, this is when hair transplant is a great solution, but not before that, because the follicles that are in the donor area, they are usually resistant to DHT or not sensitive to DHT. So usually when they take it from the donor area, put it here, they stay. But when the guy is way too young, they are still not as desensitized like as a guy when he's in his 40s. So that's why people, when you don't do a hair transplant, do not go to Turkey.
Now, if you are somebody who has a receding hairline and you are like the case that we just talked about, yes, it is reversible. It is getting your hormones back in balance. It is getting that sleep. It's getting the nutrients that you need. It's distressing. It is doing treatments like, you know, tapping or microneedling to stimulate hair growth in those areas. So yes, you can get that hair back, but you got to make sure that is the type of hair loss that you're struggling with and that you could fix it. Now, for those with the hair breakage, male or female, where you're getting the hair breakage where your hair won't grow long because it's not nourished enough or because it's breaking because of helmets, yes, that you can fix that as well. Now, unfortunately, if the hair has already grown and it is broken, dry, and brittle, unfortunately, there is not much we could do except for nurture it with oils and keep it as supple as we can. But honestly, the best thing is just to make sure you get the regular trims and get out those split ends while you see them and while you can, because those split ends will spread, because once you get one split end, they catch on each other like forks and you pull them apart and cause more breakage and more pulling. So my best recommendation is to get a trim and start fresh in those areas. But using your serum, hydrate. I use serum on my hair right out of the shower and also before bed after I wash my face. And even during the winter, you'll find serum in my purse, my car. I'll put it throughout the day if I find my hair is getting too staticky. Men as well, my husband, I get him to make sure to put a little bit of oil on the ends of his hair, not all over, not on the scalp, because it'll make your scalp oily, but just a little enough just to nourish the ends of the hair. And he'll do that before bed or fresh out of the shower. And he's noticed a difference in his hair growth because we're keeping those ends moisturized. So that way they have a chance to grow before they are too dry and break off and give themselves their own haircut. So yes, there is a way. And then in the shower, if you don't use conditioner regularly, winter, dry climate, start using conditioner. If you are using conditioner, and I've said this over and over and over, I will say it over again. I know Sergio Ambasan has too. In the winter, use your regular conditioner and put a mask on the end. So I might put my conditioner, I only put conditioner mid shaft to ends usually, but in the winter, I'll put it root to end because I want that conditioner to moisturize my scalp as well to prevent dry scalp. But then I'll use a mask on top from my mid shafts to ends, because I want something heavier to still bounce out the porosity from point A to point B, because the whole point of conditioner is to help detangle and give porosity to the ends of the hair, on the hair that hasn't had a chance to be oiled by the rest of the hair from the scalp. And so that deep conditioner on top of the mask is going to help balance the condition of the hair from root to end rather than all over. So you guys, and then if you do have those construction crew and chefs or anybody who wears a hat, my husband, I know this so well because my husband was a chef for years, so he used to wear a beanie or a bandana all the time, and he had breakage there too. Best thing you could do is they're called skull caps. They're like a bathing suit material. What is it?
Yeah.
Bathing spandex?
Yeah.
It's like a spandexy little beanie cap, and then he would wear a helmet or a hat on top of that, and that'll help prevent it. And you'll see a lot of bikers, like all my biker friends all have beanie caps just to help with the helmet because the chafing from the helmet. So that is the best tip that I can give, and moisturize those ends, you guys.
Now, I wanted to ask Biz, you're Middle Eastern, so the culture over there, you see a lot of head coverings as well. And of course, there's a climate change is different from the Caribbean, the top of Canada. Could you describe us a little bit about the climate over there and how the hair, how hair feels under those circumstances, under those type of climate?
Yes, especially some of the Arabic countries are more humid than others. So in the humid weather, this head cover will actually trap the moisture, especially if the lady or some guys also wear some igal. It's called igal.
We're learning.
Yeah.
This is an international show, guys. This is an international show.
Right. So women, we call it hijab, and for guys, we call it igal. And the igal actually is a little bit more damaging than the hijab, because the igal, they put a cotton or like the cover, but there is a heavy ring that they put over it to keep it in place so it doesn't blow away. So that ring actually is right here on the guy's head, and it keeps moving. It looks like a helmet in a way. It keeps moving this
it shakes, it rubs.
Right. So exactly. And especially when it is like a humid climate outside, also it traps all the sweat and all the humidity inside. So it's a great place where bacteria can grow. So if a guy, he's like literally 12 hours in his work shift outside like that, when he comes home, he will be more susceptible to a lot of infections, a lot of bacteria is growing, or fungus, or whatever it is, especially if he's in a construction site and there is things flying around in so it got trapped, So, but what I see for women more than men is that the hijab prevent the sun to come into the hair, and I see a lot of it's not dry. It's actually the other way. It's very, very moist. But I see a lot of these moist hair broken, and I believe because they are not resilient enough to handle any moist inside the hijab, because they're not outside. The hair itself doesn't see the sun, and I know sun rays are harmful to a certain extent to your actual hair strands, but it needs also this nourishment. Your scalp needs the ultraviolet lights, the infrared lights coming from the sun to heal your scalp. It's like our face. We need the ultraviolet light, the infrared light to heal it, make it alive. So if you 100% don't see the sun, the scalp will age actually. And in the biohacking world, what they do is they put panels in front of their bodies with all UV light and all infrared light. Why? Because it enters the cellular level, and it actually enhances the mitochondria function to give energy, to give life to your cells. And it is an anti-aging concept. So it's exactly, if your anti-aging concept to your skin, to your face, it's the same exactly thing applies to your scalp, because your scalp can't age. And we need the scalp to be fresh, to be resilient, to be not to be under moist for 12 hours or under dry for 24 hours, 12 hours. It's just a long time that is not going to be healthy at all. So yes, we see a lot of, how do you say it when the hair is like trapped onto your face, like there's no life into the hair? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, the woman I see, the hair, because of all the hijab all day long, it's just like trapped into your face. Yeah, it doesn't have life to it, you know, because it didn't see the sun, it didn't see fresh air. And that's what I always tell my friends: go to your balcony, because if you have private area in your balcony, take the hijab out and let it air out, let it see the sun, let your scalp see the sun, to give it more vitality in a way. Make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I like the culture references. I love this. I love this. Because I really enjoy it, and it opens to our viewers, about different cultures, and we learn to respect and to understand, and what's happening under the hair over there, because
I want to say that I have a girl who, like a friend of mine, who reached out for me, and she told me, look at my pictures from before she got the hijab and after the hijab. I have hair loss. She thought she has hair loss. But what happened is she did not have hair loss. Before the hijab, she had volume. That's the word I'm looking for, volume. After the hijab, she did not have volume. So she thought it's hair loss, but it was not hair loss. I said, take the hijab out, go outside in the sun in a private area for 3-4 days, and then take a picture.
And did she?
And she's like, yeah. And then she's like, oh, good, thank you. She thought that she's getting into a hair loss problem. She has no hair loss problem. But yeah, that is my first response. Let's see if you have a hair loss problem. It's just like your hair needs life. That's all.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
See, you guys, this is a global platform. We talk about everything, culture, everything. This is where it is at when we talk about hair loss, because there's so many things we have to consider that a lot of times we do not consider, because we just believe that we're all the same. It's not a one size fits all world at all. Not at all. And even we talk about ancestry. I have a lot of people who don't even consider ancestors. Me, for example, you look at me, yeah, I'm Canadian, but I'm also French, Scottish, Polish, Viking, I'm mixed race. I have to consider all my ancestors that are from different parts of the world. And that's who would make me. But I'm also a predisposition of 4 different countries. So, there's a lot of things to consider. And, exactly what you were talking about. I love that we're bringing this up, because we don't consider that at all. Yeah. And,
we are the makeup of not only our ancestors, also our environment that we were born in, and the environment we are living in. So our gene, it is just very resilient to all these changes. And we have to consider, as you said, all these changes and adapt all in the way, like if I was born in the Middle East, so I eat hummus for breakfast, dinner, and lunch, and in my coffee and everywhere.
I may have some Middle Eastern in me. I love having hummus in the morning. Before yesterday, my wife, she made hummus at home for her, fresh made. Yeah, and we do that in the morning with bread or cracker. Oh,
for breakfast?
I love that. Yeah.
We have it as like a snack. Yeah. Like you'll see hummus at like parties, like when they have the charcuterie or they have a snack board or a spread, and you'll have hummus there. And that's pretty much the only time that we see it.
You have to visit Bisan for breakfast. Okay, I visited Bisan for breakfast, and she did the whole Palestinian Arabic breakfast. My God, that was amazing. That was amazing.
I made him kibbeh, I made him fatteh. For all the Arabic viewers, I made him kibbeh, fatteh, tabbouleh, and labneh, and cheese, and everything. And za'atar, of course.
I have no idea what you're talking about, so you're going to have to make me this spread one day.
It is delicious. It is delicious. I'll tell you. It's something else.
But when I make it to my Italian husband, he was like, so when I say, let's do an Arabic breakfast this morning, he's like, why do you need us to sleep all day long? Because you eat and you go to sleep. You can't handle It's just
Oh.
so good and so heavy in a way.
Yeah.
And because the people are not, I am used to it, but the people who are not used to it, it is so heavy on your stomach because you're not used to it. Then Dino, every time he eats my breakfast, he goes to take a nap at 10 a.m. in the morning.
But Dino should be more accustomed because the Italians they eat with a lot of olive oil, and
Right.
most of the recipes have a bunch of olive oil
True.
on
But
it.
they eat
So
more carbs into it too. So when you
true.
eat more carbs, it will help you digest and give you all this insulin rush. But our breakfast, it doesn't, I mean, it does have carbs, the pita bread, but it doesn't have
Yeah.
as much as the Italians. So, and we have a little bit more beans in our breakfast too,
True.
like hummus, the garbanzo beans, and
Exactly.
other beans. We call it fool, which has a lot of different beans that cook together in a very yummy sauce. And we dip it with the pita bread and a lot of olive oil.
Oh my goodness. I can't wait to come and eat your guys' houses. We're foodies. My husband is a
No.
chef, so we love food. Food
Yeah.
was a chef. He's not anymore. He's a retired chef, but we love food. So trying different food.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm coming here. It's just
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
When
No,
we
no,
open
you have
our
to visit this. You have to
trichology
visit.
center- when we open our trichology center, that's gonna be my breakfast for all the customers for a month.
Ooh.
Nobody
There's gonna be
else
something
will
else.
leave. They will stay.
Hey guys, we need to wrap this up. It has been an amazing show here today at the Hair Wire. So please smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. So every time we go live and stream our new media content, you get notified, and of course you can enjoy it. Also, we encourage you to visit our website, thehairwire.com, subscribe, and also to go to the summit. Click on the summit button, get your tickets, and start learning. Get hair smart and stay connected here at the Hair Wire. Anything you guys want to add before we go?
I'm gonna go eat hummus.
That hummus is very good. If it's home fresh made, yes.
I'm gonna go
That's
eat now.
good.
I'm hungry now.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. God bless you all. Stay healthy. Bye-bye.